Welcome back to the Farmall 460 build series, or rebuild series. This hopefully will be the last video of this tractor. Bittersweet, but definitely happy to finally get it out of the shop. We do currently have the battery charging, and I just want to make sure that we have done everything and checked everything and triple checked everything. I did pick up another 5-gallon bucket of high tran, so we'll top that off, throw all that back together, and then that should be good. We have to fill the PTO housing yet and double check some things up here. I need to dive in further and look at maybe the governor or something here. It just doesn't make sense that, yeah, it sat here for a little while, but none of the adjustments really have changed with the throttle linkage and all that. So I don't know what the deal is with that. And I know I have to repolarize the generator once again, fasten all the body panels, put the body panels on, and at that point I think we're going to be really, really close to getting this out. And I also have to tighten these bolts on the drawbar assembly. So not really a whole lot left to do on this thing other than some small minor things, body, fluids, finish the fluids. And the other thing is this piece for the overflow on the radiator. I didn't really have luck finding anything. One thing I did think about doing is a grease zerk fitting. That I found one that the threads would be kind of similar. However, obviously you'd have to drill out the internals because nothing would come out then. But the hose wouldn't go over it, so I don't know. I'm gonna try cutting this off, throwing it back in there, and if it's short enough, maybe I can put a little beveled edge or something, I don't know. I'll mess with that. And then once I do all that and get everything situated with the overflow, then I think I can start putting the body panels back how they go. That's definitely better, and the hose fit over it pretty tight. It doesn't even screw in there. So this is kind of rigged from being made anyhow. It's not how it really should be. Why, I don't know. But I think it'll work enough. I have it in there semi-tight. You can't just pull it out, so I don't know, we'll see. Actually, the hose is even cut right there. I'll see what happens with it. If I have to change something down the road, or maybe I'll have to put a grease zerk fitting in there anyway and just drill the internals out and shove the hose over it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's not like it's pressurized or anything. It's just basically a relief, so not too big of a deal. All the paneling is on this side. Polarized the generator. And what else did we do? Other than the tube up there, we have the majority of the paneling. All the paneling is tight the whole way around. We tightened all the bolts and everything. I did take the battery tender charger off. I think we have pretty good voltage there now. I can put that fuse in, probably throw this cover on, and fill it up with some fluid. Oh, I'm glad I quit when I did. I couldn't see it. It definitely was low before, because we did not take 10 gallons out, but we probably put 10 gallons in. So now we'll be good with that. I can tell you this was very low also. And there we go. Perfect. Now, I just need to get these middle ones. I think we got a decent amount accomplished for what we had left. We got all the body panels on, we got the rest of them tightened, and we actually got the fluids filled up. Things I still have to do, and we polarized the generator, but things I still have to do are mount this plate on the bottom, which is underneath the clutch. But there are grease fittings under there that I need to get access to before we even do that. So I need to do that, grease the entire tractor. I want to check air pressure across the board, all 4 tires. And we have 2 bolts left to tighten on the drawbar assembly. So we got 4 out of the 6 tightened, which is a huge plus. I didn't think I was going to turn any of them. And I'm just going to do kind of a walk around of the entire tractor again, make sure I did not forget anything. But I think by tomorrow, this thing will be backing out of here. So again, grease all the fittings, put the plate on the bottom, finish tightening on the drawbar, and check air pressure and double check everything else. And then I think we're pretty much gonna be at a really good spot. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, and this thing hopefully will be pulling out of the shop. Good and solid now. All 6 nuts I got tight, so this won't be shaking around so much anymore. Nothing saying these won't come out, because I have had that happen already.
That's still not coated.
Yeah, those come loose sometimes.
It's yours.
Yeah, once in a while. Now, that leaves us greasing the machine, checking tire pressure, putting that plate on the bottom, and I think that's it. I think it is officially time to back this tractor out. I don't know why I'm really nervous, mainly I guess. I don't really know why, because we had this thing running, so I don't know. I know one thing I'm kind of worried about is I do want to check the throttle linkage type thing here and see what's up with that. And it sticks in my head when we did have it running that one time, the carburetor was leaking really bad around this gasket. Why? I don't know, because that's a brand new gasket that was in the rebuild kit. So that's a little strange, but otherwise, I think we're pretty much ready to go. We did manage to grease everything, and I greased up in that cover, so I put that cover back on, and I just used a Permatex gasket maker. I kept forgetting to get a gasket for it, so it's gonna serve its purpose. It's gonna be fine. The battery should be charged up enough, so I think we're at the point now where this thing's able to come out of here. It's definitely bittersweet, kind of, but it is rewarding at the same time. And it's really cool to actually see this as a whole complete tractor again, with all the panels, the exhaust, everything on it. And I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm gonna like it a lot more having a muffler on there than having it straight piped. It's just gonna be quieter. And we have 2 tires that are the same size now, so I'm definitely happy about that. So I'm gonna move some stuff out of the way, open the door, and I think we're gonna be ready to roll. One thing I do have to check before anything. What are you doing? So one thing we have to do is figure out where we're gonna be putting this for the time being. And I might just put it over in the barn. I don't know, because here, if I pull it in here, I'm still bagging corn and everything. I could put it in here, but a lot of times if somebody does get a lot of bags of corn, which we have a few bagged up there, I pull the wagon all the way out to the edge here. So for the time being, I think we're probably gonna put it in the barn. So next day, I let it charge overnight. It says it's charged now, according to that. I don't really know. I mean, this battery's from 2022, so I can't imagine it's bad already, but that doesn't mean anything. So we're gonna try it again. One thing I noticed yesterday with the carburetor, it was starting to leak around this gasket of the bowl, which is why, I don't know, but that's very annoying because that's a brand new gasket. So I don't know, see what happens once I can get it running, barring that the battery's good. But again, I charged it fully overnight, so we're gonna give it a go again and see if I can get it out of here. It has come to my attention that I have forgotten to move this wheel. So I need to do that before we pull it out. Woo! Hey, it moved. Just by me jacking up on it. Yeah, moved again. This is easy, knock on wood. Much better having these symmetrical now. Much better. One last thing that I need to do before we move this thing out. I adjusted the carburetor. It's definitely running good compared to when we brought it in the shop the first time, before we even started any of this. Obviously, which it should, because brand new engine more or less. But it does drip out the bottom. When you shut the tractor off, it really kind of drips and runs out the bottom. So I need to drop the bowl, and I think it's a fault on my part. When I rebuilt the carburetor, I did not check the float. So I think the float level is not right and the clearance is in there. So I think it's filling up too full and then running out the overflow. So unfortunately that was an error on my behalf. So I'll take care of that quick right now, and then we'll get this thing out of here. Float setting was definitely off. I think we got everything ready to go and try it again. And when I did have it running earlier, I had made comments about how the throttle linkage, it's like full throttle when it's at half on here, but that is actually not the case. It does flip it open on the carburetor, however, with the governor and everything, at least when it was running, doesn't seem that anything is moving here while it's shut off. But the more you creep the throttle up till you get all the way to full throttle, it works like it did normal. So apparently I'm just over analyzing, and maybe it just feels different up there on the lever compared to how it did before, because we do have some new parts up here. I don't know. Either way, I think that's all right. Hopefully, this definitely was out of spec, so hopefully that takes care of that, and then we'll be good. Tires moved in. I think at this point we are definitely ready to rock and roll, and I need to put on this cover. Hopefully this battery doesn't give us too many problems. If it does, not a big deal. Pop this cover off and we'll just replace the battery. That's going to be the easiest thing to do there. So without further ado, I think we're ready to roll. This is the moment you have all been waiting for, and I've been waiting for a long time. It's been a long time coming. I think it's pretty much a year that we had this in here. Longer than it should have taken, but other obligations. We had harvest, we had planting, so much other stuff going on. So I think it's time we move it out of here. Now what's left is just a giant mess. I am really glad this thing's done and out of the shop. So glad. We're gonna take it for a little drive, maybe out by the barn, out through the field, and then come back. And then we'll put her in the barn. Definitely running out of fuel, it seems. There she is, back in the barn. And it is purring. I think there is a little bit of tweaking I might have to do with the carburetor. Just seems like it may not be getting quite enough fuel, but that's something we'll have to mess with. So until, for right now anyway, this is where it's gonna sit. We'll get the shop cleaned up, figure out what's next to go in there. And just looking at this thing, seeing it sitting here and how far we actually had this thing tore down is just crazy. I can't thank all of you for tuning in and watching this entire series and sticking with it. It was fun. I had a lot of fun rebuilding this, and thank you for everybody who has helped. Now we get to begin the next project. So thank you guys so much again. I hope you enjoyed the series. I hope you enjoyed watching this thing come back to life better, healthier than ever. If you're not already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you have missed some of the last videos on this tractor, be sure to go back and check them out or watch the whole series. Anyway, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I'll see you next time.